WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow, you know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore. There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, alongside Ted Efaw in the production area. Now, Lucas is under the weather. He has what seems to be going around, a little bit of a bug. Not necessarily the one that has been talked about over the course of the last 24 to 36 hours in the WWE. Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, we'll get into that right now. Let's just say if you haven't heard, the lineup for tomorrow's TLC pay-per-view, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, has significantly shaken up. And the main reason for that, well, WWE issued a statement to ESPN stating that Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt have been diagnosed with viral infections. The statement reads, quote, "We have confirmed that 3 of our performers have been diagnosed with a viral infection. As a precautionary measure, we are ensuring in-ring performers and staff are tested and immunized in accordance with recommended medical guidelines." This doesn't sound like the common cold that they're talking about here. At least I don't think so. And from back in my days of amateur wrestling, I mean, I know that there's always concerns of some sort of infection being on the mats if they're not necessarily cleaned properly. I mean, all there is pretty much nothing but speculation at this point, and it's presumed that the third wrestler that wasn't mentioned in this case is Bo Dallas, who has been sidelined by an undisclosed illness. So I'm not sure what specifically it is, and don't expect WWE to tell you because, and this is something actually I'll give him credit for mentioning this, Mike Samsel. I was talking with him a little earlier, a longtime friend of the show here, and he and I kind of agreed that this is probably all they're going to be able to say about it due to that little thing called HIPAA that you may or may not have heard of, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, pretty much meaning that in respect to the individual's privacy, nobody is allowed to talk about what their specific illness is. So even if the doctors had told WWE, unless they get express written consent from the individuals, in this case Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, they're not allowed to get into any medical specifics as far as how those things go. I mean, it's one thing if it's a broken leg or a torn, a broken bone, a torn ligament or something like that. Is that something that's widely and commonly known? And that's, I mean, you see it all the time, not only here with this program and other entities of that sort, but you see it in professional sports all the time. You see, the NFL, they're going to have their injury report for tomorrow's games. They're going to have that come out today. So that's a little bit different than something like this, where it has to do with the I guess biological health of an individual. So that's so I don't think we're going to find out what specifically it is. I mean, there's been rumors passed around all over the place. I mean, could it be ringworm? Could it be staph infection? Not too terribly certain, but the fact that whatever it is was strong enough to pull 2 major names from a network special just days before that network special is supposed to air, in very featured matchups, in Roman Reigns' case, the main event. That gives you an idea that whatever it is without a question serious. So we can only hope that whatever it is, that they have a quick convalescence and are able to get back into the ring and onto WWE programming sooner rather than later. Once, of course, they fully heal. That's the or get rid of the viral infection, whatever it may be. However, with the shakeup, that makes things certainly a little interesting as Bray Wyatt is being replaced by AJ Styles, the face that runs the place. And he will be facing Finn Balor tomorrow night, which is interesting in its own right because of the unspoken and probably won't be spoken in WWE, and in the WWE umbrella as far as their history as over across the ocean in New Japan and with the advent of the Bullet Club, also involved with Ring of Honor as well. Initially, back in 2014, back when Finn Balor was Prince Devitt, he had founded the Bullet Club and was kicked out of the group by the Young Bucks. And the next day, who shows up as the new leader? None other than AJ Styles. So that obviously won't play a factor in this WWE matchup, but I'm sure a lot of fans over the interwebs will certainly be looking forward to that kind of a matchup that I'm sure if you had asked them 3 years ago, you would not have expected to see in WWE. So, hey, take it for take it while you can get it. That should certainly be interesting. And then the main event, the full-on reunion of the Shield, looks to be postponed, but in a very interesting way, as Reigns' replacement. Oh yes, it's true. It's true. The Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle will have his first WWE match in over 11 years tomorrow night, stepping out as the general manager and stepping into the squared circle. Last time we saw him was it 2006 in his ECW run before abruptly leaving WWE and citing fatigue and drug issues and some other things. And next thing you know, he shows up over in TNA Impact Wrestling and spent a good amount of time there, but now he has the distinction of returning to where he started in WWE. It should certainly be interesting. After roughly a decade with TNA or Impact Wrestling, now he is going to be teaming up with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, taking on The Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Kane in that 5-on-3 handicap tables, ladders, and chairs match at TLC tomorrow. Man, should certainly be interesting. And, one of the questions that immediately comes to mind is, what is the health physically and mentally of Angle? Angle, he's 48 years of age. He obviously has a lot of wear and tear on him. He'll be 49 in December, but, this is also the same person who, granted, this was just a little over 20 years ago now, as he numerously mentioned, that he won the Olympic gold medal in wrestling down in the Atlanta Games in '96 with a broken freaking neck. So, his toughness is certainly it's something that you can't exactly question, but I would imagine that over the last few months he's been getting back into ring shape, as the last time you've seen him on TV has certainly been a while in terms of a wrestling capacity, and he did have his last match on the independent circuit was back in March of this year. So you're looking at about 7 months off, a little more than 7.5 months. I don't know. I think for fans of WWE, it's obviously a huge thing, as for a lot of younger fans, they may not have seen Angle in action. If you look at the majority of the kids in the WWE universe, Angle was wrestling over in TNA while they were watching WWE. So they know him as the general manager. They might go to the internet and take a look and see, oh, this is somebody who, back when he used to wrestle for the WWE, he held the tag team titles. He was a 4-time WWE champion. He held I think he pretty much held every title there was in WWE. The United States title, the short-lived European Championship. He was the the Eurocontinental Championship for a little while, as he held both the European and Intercontinental titles at the same time. He even won the Hardcore title back when that was the thing in the back late in the late 90s and early 2000s. And with him being inducted in the Hall of Fame, man, I'm trying to think. Other than Ric Flair back at WrestleMania 24, where he was inducted in the Hall of Fame and then the next night took on Shawn Michaels and was retired, I don't know if there has been another instance, at least now off the top of my head, where a WWE Hall of Famer has competed in an active match. And okay, now as I'm immediately thinking about it, I'm sure some people are going, oh, what about all those matches with the Fabulous Moolah? Okay, yes. Forgetting that the Fabulous Moolah was inducted in the back in the mid '90s into the Hall of Fame, and then went on to have a few different matches during the Attitude Era. Okay, yeah, that's as far as I can think off the top of my head. That's the only exception, and I'm sure if there are others, then somebody will more than likely call me out on the carpet on it. I'm sure, but it's certainly something that you wouldn't expect to see, and I think is a great ratings pull, as this event was scheduled around the reunion of the Shield, the reunion of Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins, the group that they had formed a few years ago. And now with Roman Reigns out, it's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some sort of a comparison. I guess it's I don't know, and I guess kind of a dark way to be like the anticipation for. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, great example. The anticipation of something like the World Series, and then the horror and tragedy that was back in '89, I think it was, with the earthquake. Yeah, Ted Efon nodding at me. He is a baseball aficionado. That's for sure. He has forgotten more than I've learned about the game, and I was always a fan of it. And well, we'll talk a little bit. There is a little bit more baseball crossover coming a little bit later here in the show, but for certainly interesting reasons. But we'll save that for toward the end of the show with the birthdays. As I was going to say, Ted. Okay, I see an ear-to-ear grin on Ted's face. I think he knows where I'm going with the birthdays segment before I've even said anything. But tangents aside, that being said, it certainly should be interesting with the shakeup of the TLC lineup. And I'll go over the whole pay-per-view a little bit later here in the hour, and also give the predictions certain to go wrong. And Twitch did text me his a little bit ago. As I mentioned, he's not feeling too well, although I'm pretty sure, although he hasn't confirmed it, I'm pretty sure that he does not have the same condition that has befallen Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, and presumably Bo Dallas. But we will see about that. I guess if we don't see Bo Dallas accompanying The Miz as part of the Miztourage tomorrow on the event, then that may be a telltale sign. I don't think they'll just have one of the two of them out there. So they may just both not appear, so that way it doesn't further stack the odds as if 5-on-3 isn't enough of a disadvantage. Plus, that leads me to thinking, when are the other times that there's been a WWE 5-on-3 handicap match? And there's one that I can specifically think of, and I'm sure there might be some others. I'll see what I can do about finding out about those on our first time out here, and kind of reminisce a little bit on those as well. But there's one in particular that definitely jumps out at me, and fans of the Thanksgiving Classic may know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we'll take care of our first time out here. Come back. We still got a whole bunch of news and notes to get into, including a WWE star who's taking a bit of a break, and a WWE Hall of Famer who's going to be coming back in a refereeing capacity. We'll let you know who that is and when that is. Also, tickets for the, I hope Vince doesn't hear this, the granddaddy of them all. We'll let you know when those are coming up for WrestleMania, taking place in April, and we'll let you know when the tickets will be on sale for that. Also, a Hall of Famer who has another book coming out. We'll let you know who that is, and an interesting an interesting partnership deal in terms of merchandising, dare I say, as it's something that I can't say that I've seen before in wrestling, and who knows if we'll ever see it again. But I guess with professional wrestling, what can I say except never say never with this particular thing here. So that and a whole bunch more. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Brain, spine, and back disorders are life-changing, often leaving you alone to seek answers only to be rushed through an assembly line office. The compassionate doctors at Princeton Brain and Spine Care have a mission. It's their duty and goal to treat your condition with the care that you deserve and with the care that you need to get better. At Princeton Brain and Spine Care, your quality of life is their best reward. Visit them online at PrincetonBrainandSpine.com or call 215-741-3141.
Hi, Tom Mellon from Team Toyota. Remember to listen to our show, Let's Go Places with Tommy Toyota, live here on 1490 WBCB, dedicated to our local hometown veterans, policemen, and firemen. Call me anytime for an appointment at 215-768-6505. That's 215-768-6505 for your exclusively discounted vehicle selection, and $50 will be donated in your honor to our specially selected charities. Stop by and see me, Tommy Toyota, at Team Toyota, Business Route 1, Langhorne.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
He's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
Breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry hosting solo today. That's right. Lucas, a little under the weather, but hopefully he shall return next week for... Oh, yes, don't let me forget about that. I've been scatterbrained as usual, but yes, Big Ron Shaw. We tried to talk to him back a little bit ago, and that was right around the time of the hurricane that rolled through, and he had to head for higher and drier ground, so he wasn't able to speak with us. But I've taken a look at the weather forecast. I don't see any sign of Tropical Storm Philippe, which I think is next on the list there, to cause any kind of trouble, so he should be able to join us on the phones. And one of the carpenters of the late 70s and early 80s in the WWF or WWF, depending on the time frame. And I'm sure there's I can't even imagine some of the stories and history that he has, having wrestled some of the greats like Rick Martel, the Fabulous Freebirds, Andre the Giant, just to name a few. And we'll also have to delve into the infamous Phantom Submission, his match at the Spectrum against David Sammartino. It's something that's both famous and infamous for him, and we'll touch on it briefly. I can kind of give you... I'll probably end up giving a little bit of a preliminary heads up on that for next week. But, man, it's I'm kind of curious to see, a little bit more from his perspective on that. And it certainly should be a fantastic interview next week. So that's next Saturday, October 28th. Big Ron Shaw going to be joining us here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. And I'd alluded to it earlier, on the previous side of the break here. The 5-on-3 handicap TLC match. Now, that's certainly the first of its kind, but there have been, on a few other occasions, some 5-on-3 handicap matches. The one that immediately jumped out to me when I thought of it was the main event, the Ultimate Survivor Series match from 1990. Yeah, does that one ring a bell at all? Let's take a little bit of a quick trip back here and see if we can, see if we can jog your memory just a little bit. Yes, the Ultimate Survivor Series from 1990. Oh man. As it was called, the Ultimate Survivor match as part of the Thanksgiving night tradition. Back then it was on November 22nd, 1990. And the way that it worked, you had your 4-on-4 Survivor Series elimination matches. Once you got pinned or submitted or were counted out or disqualified, you were eliminated. But those of your team who remained after the match was over would go on later that night to fight off in the Ultimate Survivor match. And it led to a 3-on-5 tag team match of Hulk Hogan, Tito Santana, and the Ultimate Warrior taking on Hercules and Paul Roma, as well as Rick Martel, who I believe was the model at that point, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and the Warlord. And despite the odds, it was 1990. Come on, you knew Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior were going to be the final survivors on that. And they most certainly were. But yeah, that's one particular one that rings a bell. And then one that didn't quite jump to me until I did a little bit of research, but there was at least one occasion back in 2006 when you had the Spirit Squad. That's right, the five cheerleaders who were there, one of which would go on to become Dolph Ziggler. Yes, that's right. He was Nicky on the on that crew there, the Spirit Squad. Yeah, Kenny, Johnny, Mitch, Nicky, and Mikey. It's like trying to name the 7 dwarves. I'm like, all right, which was who again? Yeah, you always seem to forget one. But yes, that night in April of 2006, you had a 5-on-3 handicap match. And it was that's just, like I said, it's just a couple of examples, but it's not something that you very often see. That's for sure. Yeah, Triple H, Edge, and John Cena were the opponents of the Spirit Squad, and that one ended up going to a no contest. So I don't know, a couple of examples. I'm sure there's a couple of more that I hadn't thought of, but in doing some quick research, that was what jumped out to me on here. And in looking at that here, leave it to something in terms of action here. And I'm surprised that hasn't popped up at this point, but it's amazing what can occur around the world. Is that there apparently is, I wonder if this is an Irish site that is actually taking, they have a betting line on the main event 5-on-3 handicap match. Yeah, I just stumbled upon that now here. So, amazing. I mean, there are some events where usually like WrestleMania, maybe the Royal Rumble, where there'll be takers on all the matches on the event. But in this case, this particular, it's under the novelties or sports novelties section, and it has very strong odds favoring the Shield, and that I don't know if that accounts for the replacement of Roman Reigns by Kurt Angle, but the odds are 1-7 for the Shield, as opposed to the team with the apparent advantage is the strong underdog here. They have 4-1 odds. So I don't know. As I said, I just stumbled upon that looking for something else here. It's amazing. Sometimes the news creates itself here, but somebody who definitely doesn't need to create anything here. Well, the man who has the look at the local scene, none other than Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. ROH returns December 16th at the 2300 Arena.
Yes, they were just in town last night. Yeah, I was not able to make it, although I know a few of my constituents over at the MFPW were in attendance and in action. But I was over at the MFPW arena getting set up for the event that we have going on later tonight.
Hybrid wrestling in Eddystone on October 27th with a 7 p.m. bell time.
That
Nate
is this Friday, yeah.
Yeah, that's a Friday night. Nate Hatred versus Nick Gage. And Bulldozers on the card, Matt Tremont. Teddy Hart,
Yes.
Eddie Kingston, and Maria Maniac.
Oh, yes, Maria. Oh, is she going by Maria Maniac there? I know that when she wrestled with when I've called a couple of her matches, she was Maria Manic. So I don't know if
Maybe I have it down wrong. Maybe I spelled it wrong.
no worries. It's just more for clarification than anything. And
Never.
let's see here. I also see Matt Riddle's on the card there. Matt Riddle against Eddie Kingston.
WWE. I think I mentioned this last week about Raw in Baltimore for the WWE.
You know what? My longish term memory. It's not quite short term, but not quite long term either. It's not quite there.
I might have.
That's coming up a week from this Monday, right?
Yes.
At the Royal Farms Arena, formerly known as the Baltimore Arena.
Russell Pro tonight. All starts at 5:30 with a meet and greet. They have Terry Reynolds, Kevin Matthews, Laurel Van Ness.
Oh yeah, I'm pulling that up here really quick, and I see let's see who else there.
Katrina.
Bobby Wayward, Anthony Bowens, Mario Bocota, Falaba is going to be there. That should be a lot of fun. I was going to say, unfortunately, I'm already committed here, but that should be a lot of fun over in Matawan, New Jersey.
And Gary Michael competitive body slams is going to be in Asbury Park next week.
Oh, very nice.
Lakeburg.
He's I was going to say he's been getting around with a lot of that. He actually
did
a
book tour.
Yeah, he's got the book tour going on. I know not too long ago he did I was at a seminar that he did. Really cool guy and very interesting tidbits and knowledge as well. Just from not only just the wrestling business, but also just promotion and things of that nature.
And Al Snow's going to be in Millersville, Maryland for a show, October 28th. That's probably too far out.
Well, I mean, it's only a week away, but I think you mean distance-wise, it's probably just a little far away. Although I've heard great things about the new clothing line that he's rolled out, the collar and elbow clothing line.
Yes.
So yeah, there's something to check out.
And there's a convention going on right now, Legends of the Ring.
Yes, Legends of the Ring is today, and once again, I was going to say, my obligations here prevent me from going up there. I'd love to be up there, but I know there's so much going on.
They have Icons coming up in about three weeks or 4 weeks at the 2300.
At the 2300 arena. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know if I'd necessarily, if it would be good for me to preempt myself just to make it down to these things. I know the one time that I did pony up the coin to purchase a vendor table, but I don't know. The challenge is the return on investment with it. That pretty much the ROI on that is zero. So that's where it gets a little bit challenging.
They just added Virgil to the convention.
Oh, well, if they just added Virgil, now I have to go. No, that doesn't exactly surprise me. We'll just we'll
How
leave it
many
at that.
people are going to have his autograph?
I guess however many will opt to pay. It's all about that It's all about that certain type of money with him. If you follow his Twitter, you know what I'm talking about, because I certainly can't say it over the airwaves.
I heard a couple times no one signed for autographs from him.
Yeah,
He wasn't just sitting around.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate. I mean, I think some of that, I know that there have been, there's been some, I guess, some advertisement, for lack of a better term, of, he puts up on the marquee Virgil and Ted DiBiase, knowing that Ted isn't necessarily going to be there.
Yeah. I should have to list.
What happens when you swerve, or try to swerve, I suppose.
I should have to line up next week or the following week.
Oh, what, for the yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that when it gets closer.
All right. Have a nice Halloween.
Yes, you do the same. I know it's we're about a week and a half away, but certainly a lot of different things going on as far as the season, and even more so next weekend. That's for sure. That's kind of the.
I don't know if you'll be taking calls.
What, next weekend?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be here. I mean, I mean, with Ron, yeah. I don't know if we'll be able to do interactive things. So I think during the interview it'll just be he and I. But then once the interview concludes, or I mean, I don't know. It's still kind of up in the air. If he ends up, it wouldn't be the first time on this show where somebody started in the beginning and they've gone the whole hour and we weren't able to take calls. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Everything's free flowing around here. Alrighty, thank you so much for the call, Ed. Appreciate the look at the local scene as always. And is it? I guess it is about that time. I know we got to most of that reminiscing, and that took care of the one segment there. But let me let you know that things are getting freaky this weekend at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. It's round 3 of the Hollow Weekends, with an extra special long day planned, open now until 2 a.m. tonight only. The owners and staff have transformed into their alter freak show egos. Plus, they're going to have a charity fortune teller, sideshow acts from Mr. E, and at 11 o'clock tonight, the magic of Matt Cadabra, as well as a late-night treat, La Capitania, will play on the Broken Stage. Plus, the Wheel of Charity, because the official name I can't call it, will be spinning all day for great prizes. Plus tomorrow, it's Sunday, Bloody Sunday, with Bloody Mary flights until 2 and House Bloody Marys all day. And on tap, that's delicious as well. Get the autumn beers while they're on, including, I've gushed about this one, all goblets have spirits, the Scotch ale brewed with maple syrup and Gala apples, as well as the return of the troll beer from this past January, but this time it's in season, Cut the Crap-O-Lantern, an easy-drinking 5.8% pumpkin porter. Just a few reasons why it's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Please enjoy responsibly. Coming back, we've got news, notes, predictions certain to go wrong, birthdays, today in wrestling history, and a whole bunch more. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Chickies and Pete's, your favorite local sports bar with the best in-game experience. Catch all the action and the players at Chickies and Pete's all season long. Live football shows all season, featuring the Brandon Graham Show every Monday. Plus, the Chickie and Pete's Players Lounge with Fletcher Cox and many more special guests. Enjoy daily drink specials, signature menu items, and our world-famous crab fries. Chickies and Pete's is a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and the official caterer of the Touchdown Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Head to chickiesandpete's.com for the full schedule.
Take a stand.
Take a stand.
Take a stand.
Like my brother did, when he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Like my wife did, when she asked the right questions.
Like my friend did, when she made the call.
You stood by us when we were in uniform, so stand by us now.
Take a stand for those who served our country.
If you're a veteran in crisis, or know one who is, the confidential Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Hi, this is Governor Tom Wolf. Thousands of families across Pennsylvania have been affected by the opioid epidemic. Together, we can fight this disease. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, help is available. Visit pa.gov/opioids for resources and information on substance abuse. For treatment options, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Brought to you by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Tom Wolf, Governor. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, October 21. On this date in 1996, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Fort Wayne, Indiana. In the main event, Hunter Hearst Helmsley pinned Mark Merrow to win the Intercontinental Championship. On this date in 2001, the WWF held its No Mercy pay-per-view. In the main event, Steve Austin defeated Kurt Angle and Rob Van Dam in a triple threat match to retain the World Wrestling Federation Championship. On this date in 2002, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Nashville, Tennessee. In the main event, Kane and Rob Van Dam defeated Triple H and Ric Flair in a tag team match. On this date in 2013, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Memphis, Tennessee. In the main event, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins fought the Usos to a no contest. This has been Today in Wrestling History, October 21. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Yeah, I just pulled a Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. It. Yep, absolutely. Due to a bunch of reasons here, I wasn't able to get that on tape ahead of time, so I figured, why not? It was almost Kurt Hennig perfect. Almost. All right, let's get back into things here. Oh, yes. Got to let you know, how could I forget it? Well, because my mind is scatterbrained and I've been awake since 3-something this morning. That's probably why. More signings from George's Cards and Collectibles, including this afternoon. For Eagles fans, running back and kick returner Kenyon Barner will be at the Neshaminy Mall Sports Cards and Collectibles show from 2 until 3 this afternoon for autographs. Plus, on Friday night, November 3rd, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., former WWE diva Rosa Mendez will appear at George's Neshaminy Mall location. And for the hockey hosers out there, Flyers rookie defenseman Robert Hagg will appear at the new Oxford Valley Mall location on Sunday, November 12th from 2 to 3 p.m. And plus at that new location, meet Flyers star Jacob Voracek on Saturday, November 25th from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. George's has 2 locations, at least for the moment, for all your cards and collectibles needs. Their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the movie theater wing, and coming in November, a 3rd location in the Oxford Valley Mall. For more information, go to georgescollectibles.com and follow George's Cards and Collectibles on Facebook. All right, let's get to the news and notes here, including Impact Wrestling announcing on Friday that Taryn Terrell is no longer with the company. Impact Wrestling describing it as the two sides mutually agreeing to part ways. Their statement, quote, Taryn would like to pursue other career options and she has our full support. We wish Taryn well in whatever she does next. I wonder if they said that because they can't say we wish her all the best in her future endeavors, because knowing WWE, that's probably trademarked or copyrighted as well. Terrell was advertised for the Knockouts Championship match at the Bound for Glory event, but it was announced on TV last night that she was out of the match after being injured by a Gail Kim slap the week before. Yes, a slap. So now the Knockouts title match is a triple threat rather than the 4-woman match previously announced. It'll be Sienna defending against Gail Kim and Allie on November 5th, just a couple weeks away. Meanwhile, in the women's division in WWE Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss told the New York Post that Nia Jax is taking a break from WWE. Bliss saying in the interview, quote, "We have talked about it a lot. Whatever she is going through, I wouldn't necessarily call it a leave of absence. She's taking some time off because our schedule, it gets very grueling. It's very, very demanding. There are times where you are run down and your body can't do it anymore and you get sick or you get injured from it and you get tired." She added, "I feel like everyone needs a reset every once in a while. In NXT, I took a few resets and it was never like public knowledge, but we all need them. We all take them once in a while, and I'm happy when she comes back. I feel like everyone needs that refresher week or refresher moment." End quote. And seeing it from here, I know exactly what she's talking about, and in a way, in some senses, I've been able to recharge while while dealing with my injury here, and in other senses, well, I don't know. I'm itching to get back, even though I'm not quite physically cleared to do so. But I don't know. Sooner rather than later, we'll see what happens here. Just going through all the rehab and physical therapy, and one of these days you might see Fearon Burgundy between the ropes. We'll see. Also, WWE has announced that Shawn Michaels will be the special referee for the Drew McIntyre against Adam Cole match for the NXT Championship at the November 17th live event in San Antonio, Texas at the Aztec Theater. Now, the event is the night before the NXT TakeOver War Games event in Houston, Texas. That's the weekend of Survivor Series. Now, Michaels has been working at the WWE Performance Center, and it will be a great homecoming for him in San Antonio, but just don't start with the rumors that this means he's coming back soon to wrestle. It's been 7 years since he hung up the boots. Michaels is 52 years old. Just stop. Give it up. It's not going to happen. You're more than likely to see me main event WrestleMania than you'll see Michaels back in the ring. But if he does go back in the ring, trust me, you're not going to see me main eventing in WrestleMania anytime soon. Speaking of WrestleMania, though, WWE announced tickets for WrestleMania 34. They'll be available Friday, November 17th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. As you may or may not know, WrestleMania 34 takes place Sunday, April 8th, 2018, at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Ticket prices range from $35 to $1,000, and there will be a limited number of Gold Circle VIP packages available for $2,000, which includes seating in the first 9 rows ringside, access to a Gold Circle VIP stadium entrance, and a commemorative WrestleMania 34 take-home folding chair. And is that Ted Efaw clutching his chest, or is that him clutching his wallet? I'm not sure which. Both, he says. Well, one hand for each, I suppose. Just in the surprise of the prices. I mean, well, hey, look at what Super Bowl tickets cost. I mean, you look at it in comparison. I mean, $1,000 for a seat isn't. It's not too bad. Also, Mick Foley has another book coming out. Polis Books announcing the publication of Saint Mick, My Journey from Hardcore Legend to Santa's Jolly Elf. When Mick was faced with the end of his wrestling career, not in the ring but in a neurologist's office, his future seemed far from merry and bright. But he found a calling that rivaled and even surpassed the feeling of being cheered by thousands every night, right here in whatever city he was in for the cheap pop. Now, the feeling of spreading Christmas cheer to those less fortunate than him, while keeping the holiday alive for his children. From being run over on WWE TV on Christmas Eve to enduring one of the most painful injuries of his career, bleaching his beard, Mick recounts with his trademark human wisdom and warmth how becoming the red-suited man gave him a new purpose in life. St. Mick features a foreword by WWE's Stephanie McMahon and never-before-seen photos of Foley family memories. St. Mick is available at major booksellers including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, iBooks, and more. And all I can do is just smile and shake my head because when I see being run over on WWE TV on Christmas Eve, that was what led to my infamous parody spoof, Santa Got Run Over by Del Rio, which we are not replaying or reprising, but I'm sure if you go to the archives on YouTube, Pro Wrestling Weekly, I'm sure you can pull that up from a while ago. At least I think I've uploaded that one. And if I haven't, I probably shouldn't. Just for the fact that I'm not singing. That's more so the thing. I've heard that singing on wrestling shows is frowned upon, but never mind. Not even worth getting into all that. But this is certainly interesting and definitely is worth getting into. Impact Wrestling has its own pizza and drink. Yes, Impact Wrestling and Crust and Crate Fast Fired Pizza Pub held a press conference yesterday announcing their formal partnership over the next month, as Impact will hold 6 back-to-back nights of wrestling action, starting with Bound for Glory on November 5th, and then 5 events Monday through Friday, November 6th to the 10th, at the Aberdeen Pavilion in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Now, I'm not sure what's in the Impact Pizza. I tried to get footage of the press conference, wasn't able to find it anywhere, but if it's anything like the rest of the items on their menu, I am definitely intrigued. For example, their Lucha Libre Pizza with pulled beef, fresh jalapenos, pickled red onions, avocado smash, salsa fresca, and lime sour cream. Yeah. Or their Taekwondo Pizza, Taekwondough, for the pun, because obviously if you can't read the word, then you don't realize the pun. But the Taekwondo Pizza with Korean chicken, pork belly, pickled veggies, gochujang mayo, and cilantro. And then, of course, for the gamer nerds like myself, there's the Mario's Shopping Cart Pizza. As opposed to Mario Kart, get it? Yeah. With shaved prosciutto, shredded Parmesan, raw pear, baby arugula, and balsamic syrup. And damn, now I'm hungry. Sadly, it's only available in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, though, so no sense in getting that down here. Although, I know, this almost seems like a different plug, but I'm going to mention it just because it was pointed out to me by wrestler The Blue Meanie, thanks to the wonders of social media. There is a Canadian delicacy that, until recently, I thought was only available in Canada or other places far away, but actually just made an appearance now here in Philadelphia. Smoke's Poutineery. Yes, a restaurant that is just dedicated to serving poutine, that lovely... if you're not familiar with poutine or what it is, because it is a Canadian dish, it's French fries topped with gravy and Quebec cheese curds. And man, is it delicious. And they have a bunch of other gourmet flavors, yes, flavors with a U, because, again, Canada, topped with all different types of either meats or vegetables or, oh, man, I need to stop talking about food. The last 8 minutes and change are not going to go quickly enough here to get into that. A couple other tidbits of information. Nikki Bella survived another cut on Dancing with the Stars. She has improved over the first 5 weeks of the season and has staved off elimination with her best score to date. And she is one of the 9 remaining celebrities, and this week gets to learn and perform the Argentine tango under the theme A Night at the Movies. And I believe that's on ABC on Monday nights, but I'll admit I'm not a big Dancing with the Stars watcher. And finally, from Dancing with the Stars to Stars and Stripes, former WWE ring announcer Lillian Garcia had set an interesting football record, at least in terms of one of the teams, as she had performed the national anthem at the New York Jets game this past Sunday at MetLife Stadium, and it was Garcia's 12th time performing the anthem for the Jets, which she noted on Instagram is a team record. Congratulations, and, we'll let you bicker amongst yourselves about the whole standing or kneeling thing. We'll just leave that as it is there. And Ted is cringing outside there. Oh, man. Well, I also got to tell you, the MFPW returns to the world-famous Monster Factory at 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey tonight for the MFPW Buy One, Get One Free. The MFPW heavyweight champion Mikey Webb is in action tonight against a yet-to-be-determined opponent. Plus, you'll see Getty Cahoon versus Nick Camarado, Primal Fear facing Hyena Hex and Mark Cruz, Sage takes on Dobbs, and QT Marshall returns to challenge the upgrade Mike Reed. All this and more tonight at the MFPW Arena, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. Tickets are available now at eventbrite.com. Check out the MFPW and all things Monster Factory on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as at monsterfactory.org. And check out past matches, bios, bloopers, and more at the mfnetwork.com, which is the home for Monday Night Monsters, hosted in part by yours truly. Alrighty. Well, let me get into the predictions starting to go wrong for TLC. 7 matches, 6 on the, at least 6 advertised plus the kickoff match, and they'll probably sneak another 1 or 2 on there. Firstly, the kickoff match, Sasha Banks against Alicia Fox. Both Twitch and I agree we're going with Sasha Banks for the victory on that one. Alexa Bliss taking on Mickie James, and Bliss defending her Raw Women's Championship. I'm thinking Bliss retains, and so too does Twitch. And since we're keeping the ladies' first theme, Asuka against Emma in a singles women's match. I'm thinking Asuka, and so too is Lucas. Interesting. And then, in terms of titles, the Cruiserweight title on the line. Kalisto defending against former champ Enzo Amore, the certified G and bona fide stud, etc. In this case, I think the certified retention is going to be with Callisto, and so too does Lucas. And a couple of other matches here. Cedric Alexander in tag team action going along with Rich Swann against Gentleman Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. Both Lucas and I think we're going with Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. And then the two that we talked about earlier in the hour here, Finn Balor taking on AJ Styles, replacing the infected Bray Wyatt. And we mentioned the history with the Bullet Club and whatnot, and even though that won't be mentioned, that's pretty much a prediction sure to go right. I'm going with Finn Balor, and so too is Lucas. Yeah, that's right. We've agreed on all 6 so far, and I think it's going to be a clean sweep here, as in the main event, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Kurt Angle, oh, it's true, it's damn true, taking on The Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Kane in a 5-on-3 handicap TLC match. Yeah, 2/3 of the Shield and Angle. The angular Shield, I guess. I think, we both think they are going to get the victory on that there. So, yeah, there's our picks. Feel free, I guess in this case, I'm not going to go to that site and put down the 1-7 odds in that case. Yeah, definitely not worth it when the odds are that strong of a favorite. It's not that I'm any expert by any means of that sort of thing. I usually stick... I won't even get into that. It's probably better. Again, for a programming note, next week, Big Ron Shaw is going to be on the program. And going to certainly look forward to talking to him as... stories from the days gone by, having taken on some of the legends and Hall of Famers and helping make them look as good as they could, and in turn that helping Big Ron Shaw look good for promoters and otherwise. So Vincent McMahon Sr. certainly was thrilled, and so too was Vince Jr., as that transition of ownership had occurred back in the early 80s. So let's see here. We've got about 3 minutes left here. I suppose it's time for, what is it there, Twitchy?
Birthdays!
Yeah, it's about how he's feeling right now. Alrighty, so I've got 3 plus a couple of Brucey bonuses here. Firstly, on this date in 1944, Robert Miller was born. The WWE Hall of Fame wrestler known as one half of the Sheepherders tag team on the independent scene, but best known as Butch of the Bushwhackers, the Hall of Fame team, along with Luke. Well, Butch turns 73 today. And on this date in 1965, Michael Allen Bolea was born. Yeah, that last name might sound familiar. The former WCW wrestler known as Horace Hogan, who is the legitimate nephew of fellow wrestler Hulk Hogan. Yeah, Terry Bollea, the real name. Well, in this case, just trying to quickly do the math on that. So there's about a 12-year difference in age, even though one is uncle and the other is nephew. But Horace Hogan turns 52 today, and you would think that this is a Brucey bonus, but no, there is an involvement here in professional wrestling. On this date in 1980, Kimberly Noel Kardashian was born. Yes, the reality television personality and socialite who was the hostess of WrestleMania 24 turns 37 today. And I'm sure I could play a 37 drop, but Jim Foxwell does enough of that on Monday to Friday. Yes, and now to the Brucey bonuses. I've got a couple of them here, something from outside of the world of wrestling. On this date, we're going way back. On this date in 1924, Joyce Randolph was born. The actress best known for her role as Trixie Norton from the sitcom The Honeymooners. That's right, pal to the moon, Alice. Yeah, that's going way back, but she turns 93 today, the sole living cast member of that fearsome foursome of The Honeymooners, along with Jackie Gleason, Art Carney, and Ted help me on the other one. Audrey Meadows, thank you. Yes, it was on the tip of my tongue, and I was just drawing a blank there because fatigue is real. And on this date, this is the one I was teasing earlier. On this date in 1928, Edward Charles Ford was born. The Hall of Fame pitcher for the New York Yankees and 6-time World Series champion, better known as the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford, turns 89 today.
And on this date in 1980, it's not a birthday.
No?
Phillies won their first World
Yes, that's right. Their first World Bleepin' Championship. We'll see if his birthday present is another trip to the World Series as the Yankees take on the Astros in Game 7. Anyway, that's going to do it for me until next week. Do we have time for Nutsy?
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB.